They say this is a big rich town. I just come from the poet's part. Bright light, city life, I gotta make it, this is where it goes down. I just happen to come up hard. Legal or illegal, baby, I gotta make it.
I never took a straight path nowhere. Life's full of twists and turns, bumps and bruises. I live, I learn. I'm from that city full of yellow cabs and skyscrapers. It's hard to get a start in these parts without paper. Homie, I grew up in hell, a block away from heaven. That corner 15 minutes, it move a 7. Pure snow, bag it then watch it go. Occupational options, get some blow or some hoe. Shoot the ball of the strap, learn the rap or the jack. Good man, in the meantime, go ahead and pump a pack. This my Regal Royal flow, my James Bond bounce. That 007, that 62 on my count.
What's going on? We're here with Curtis 50 Cent Jackson, executive producer of the new hit series, Power Book 2, a spinoff from Power. 50, I gotta ask you a question, man, as we start this show. How does it feel to see another one of your projects come to life?
Man, it feels great, man. The project, Power Book 2 Ghost, it's the first spinoff of 3 other spinoff shows. And that's I'm excited about it. Like, this one was easy to roll into because the writer for Power is also the head writer for the Power Book 2 show, and it's Courtney. We just rolled right into it like it was a episode of season
The next
7, the next season.
Right.
So following that, they can get a chance to check out Raising Kanan. We got Sasha. He was in the original writers' room for Power, and he's running that show now, so it's cool. Raising Kanan is like we took a template from Goodfellas, so it's like the adult voiceover of Ray Liotta that was the Sonny character.
Yeah.
Like, I'm the adult voice for Kanan, the younger Kanan. So you'll hear me on that project, and I did the theme song for that project, Raising Kanan.
All right, so we're gonna be excited because the theme song is very important these days, as we come to notice. Someone would argue that you are the hardest working man in show business right now. You got Power, you got the spinoffs, you got BMF. Like, how many shows are you working on right now as we speak?
Well, I have 8 television shows right now, but hardest working, man, with COVID, that ain't a big trophy. You don't get a big trophy because, ain't nobody running doing the shows. Ain't no tours, ain't none of everything else ain't happening, but
how has it affected you? Because we know you to not sit still at all.
That is the biggest thing, is being, like, sitting still. Now I know what I learned about myself during the quarantine and COVID was when I'm tired, it's not from the actual work, it's from the travel. Different kind of exhaustion at that point, because I could do this all day. Like,
You built for this.
Yeah, like, that part is, I'm conditioned for it, so I'll work, I'll do it on the telephone all day, make things happen,
Well, some people are built for it, and some people, they say, be careful what you ask for, you just might get it.
Right.
For you, I want to take it to the top with Tariq, man. Tariq has now become the man of the family. How has Michael Rainey Jr. grown in this role from season 1 to now his own spinoff?
Well, from season 1, it's been an amazing journey for Michael. Like, I think from season 1, I think he was about 12 years old, but he looked like he was 10.
Yeah.
And now he's grown. Like, it's already been 7 years. So Michael, like, is organically the coolest step towards changing the show, because it's a different demographic when you're looking at college kid.
Right.
And 1 foot in the street, 1 foot in the university. It's a different show from what you saw with Ghost and Tommy, in Power. So the stakes are
a little higher.
Yeah, it's a little different, and then I think they'll identify with it differently, because people that are at that point in their life immediately will be attracted to it, because they'll see themselves in those. Even if you hadn't made those decisions, there was opportunity for you to go in that direction.
I agree.
Because,
for Michael now, he is now at a point now, as we're going to pick up into this new series, he is Ghost in the making, kind of, right?
Yeah.
But how does the resentment from what his father was to what he may see himself become play a big pivotal role in the series?
Okay, see, if you asking Curtis like 50 Cent Jackson that question, I'll say some technical shit that is not the same answer that I give you if you're asking Kanan. Now, with Kanan, the way I would say it is his pops is a whole sucker. It's a whole fucking sucker, bro. Like, no matter how
you cut
deal with it, he's a sucker. So when you can identify with a person's personal needs, you looked at Tariq's character, the Kanan character identified with his need to be treated as an adult, grown. You know, like people, all of us go through at that point.
Right.
You're just
Phases.
desperate at that phase to be viewed and treated as an adult. And a lot of times we act out during that time frame, doing things that other than what your parents are telling you to do at that point to establish that you're grown. That's when you have that communication. And this is, while Kanan's not lying to him at that point, he's telling him the truth about the experience and who his father and his mother is.
Right.
But
Good, bad, or indifferent.
right, and they were protecting him from it. You know, like, and it's interesting because if he's not telling you a lie, how's it wrong? It's because you're learning the truth
Right.
at the wrong timing for them. You know what I mean? And when he identifies with Tariq is like that, he starts to really like it because he's like, yo, he might be better than your pops was
guy.
at his age because
Right.
he's slicker than him. Like we took him. There was a point that there was a scene we went to the sneaker store, and I was like, yo, when I was your age, like we had to take the shit if we wanted it. You know what I'm saying? That's how you gain respect and how, you know, we just did things. You know what I'm saying? And he's looking and he go,
All right.
and he calls the guy. Like, I figured we gonna go out and I'm gonna punch the dude in the face at the door and we're gonna run out with the shoes. Let's just take it, right? He calls, so the guy has to go to the front to answer the phone, and we walk right past the guy. So I'm like, this motherfucker is slicker than
Real
his daddy at that point, because it's the same scenario early on, went on where backstory, not something that you would see in the show, but something that was in my mind while I'm portraying the characters. We had done that before.
Gotcha.
You see what I'm saying? So, and I punched the guy and we ran out of the spot.
And kept it moving.
Right. It's like if I go stand behind him before he knows what's going on, you come with the shoes, I punch the dude, we run up out of here. This is what already was
In your mind.
set up to how we would deal with it. And it's dealt with completely different. I'm like, yo, I didn't even have to punch him. This is when me identifying that he's like, he might be better than his daddy was back then because we did that
Right.
the other way. You know what I'm saying? And then there's it's cool points I think that people will forgive Tariq because they didn't like the Kanan character at all until they seen him like Tariq. Like, you see him, you gotta love something
About.
the characters have to love something in front of you. So even though the thing that I'm attracted to about the Tariq thing is negative, it's the worst thing to Ghost in him. But I'm attracted to it because it's who he actually is. There's nothing, you can't run from who you are.
Nah. The truth, the truth will
Eventually
catch up to you.
You will just be who you are. And when I'm seeing that, like there was another scene where Drake came and was trying to take him out of the house party.
Right.
And he's like, yo, you should be going home. And I'm looking at him like he think I got him here hostage. He here on his own free will.
He want to be here.
So he's like, nah, I'm good here. He looking like, now you get the fuck out, nigga, since you did that, you bitch ass nigga. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, these niggas is all doing sucker shit. Like, look, his pops will call the police on you.
Right.
Because he want to do something different. And it's not even his idea. It's Tasha's idea. Why they called the police on, I'm going to make the drop for you. He talking about a whole bunch of shit I'm not into. Remember I was telling Sean at that point in the series? They said that the police pulled me over because the tail light is out. Ain't nothing wrong with the tail light. The bulb been unscrewed. right? So they said it was a female caller. This is information given in the actual series. It's Tasha.
Pulling the string.
This is why when she wanted him to be the biggest drug dealer in New York City, like you see, and don't want him to be nothing different. She's the right girl for the journey and not necessarily the right girl for him at that point, because he looking saying no old folks home for drug dealers, just the federal penitentiary.
That's it.
And ain't no place to go but down at that point. You know, you doing it, how long? You up on you on top? Gotta say an exit. No exit? Then that means just a matter of time and you're just waiting.
Right, you're just waiting for that time to come.
Yeah.
Waiting for the other shoe to drop.
That's it. You know, so that's how the story panned out. The part that was a little different, how about the template for what Power was is every successful drug dealer's experience. You know what I'm saying? I knew it would be relatable because they make enough money, illegal money, they're going to make legitimate investments. Even if you just look to the girl that's around and say, yo, why don't you do something? What you want to do? Like, you get your hair done a lot. Why don't you go get a beauty salon or some shit? Or a barbershop or a laundromat.
Put that money back into the community.
Just the shit
through someone.
Right. In the community, you know that it'll be a consistent interest in keeping your clothes clean or getting your hair cut. So those are the standard choices.
Now, there was a rumor out that you were originally supposed to play Ghost. Is that true?
I wasn't supposed to play Ghost. What happened was we worked on Power for almost 2 years, right? And we went pitched the show and they didn't bite for the show the first time. But what we got every time we talked, then it was like, so who's gonna play Ghost? You play Ghost? And they're talking to me, and I'm like, no. I gotta go be 50 Cent. I make a lot of money being 50 Cent.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, this means to play a lead, you wouldn't be able to move. Like, you got so much responsibility on the show that you can't do.
The
I can't go.
dedication there is
It's a lot.
ties you up.
You know what I mean? Amari was the right guy for the role for that. You know what I'm saying? And I just like, nah, I'm not. And then when we didn't get picked up. There was a point where Courtney was like, look, you can do this shit forever. I gotta go back to work. You know what I mean? And I was like, wait, I'll play Ghost. Cause I knew that she knew
we needed an option.
No, they would pick this shit up immediately if I was willing to play. Because there's a point when you're talking to executives and they look and they go, no, it's a good idea, it's cool. But who's gonna play? Who's gonna play? Like, who do you have in mind? Like, who would be the guy to drive the actual show? And if they can't clearly see who that is, they may make the chance to decide to pass on the idea because we don't know how to make it great.
Right, without seeing you in that role.
In the beginning. Yeah, and she felt that a few times we did it when we pitched it. So that got her back on deck and we kept going back. At that point I had recorded music. So I had like a song that was representation of all the lead characters. And I would play the song like when we went to pitch the next time. She'd talk about the characters and then I'd play the song. And she'd talk about the character and I'd play the next song. And it was really effective because the last place they spend money in production is on licensing the music for the episode. So if you have quality music, things that would raise the production value of the show, and you're saying these are things that already are at access that we created for, it feels like this is organically cooler than the other things that we're being presented, you know.
Now, Kanan is a iconic character. We can't see anybody else playing Kanan at this point. But for you, are there any similarities between Kanan and Curtis Jackson or Kanan and the rapper 50 Cent?
You know what? The darkest, the most aggressive things that I've said in music speak to Kanan. You know what I'm saying? Because it's a character that's created that, those tones are in who the character is. You know what I'm saying? But I didn't serve 10 years. I didn't do a lot of the stuff that he did in the show. You know, like there was there was one moment that it was actually difficult. I had to talk to Courtney to get it right. Like To Kill an Old Lady. Like that was a TV moment because I didn't know anyone that would do that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like
goes
that
against the code.
Yeah, that's not street. That's crazy, like lunatic. A different type of thing driving it. Like this, she didn't do nothing to you. Who's the old lady? So you knocked her off to get into the apartment, to find out if the hole was still in the wall. They could have not been in the wall, bro. And I'm like, nah, fuck this. Nah, I don't know. I asked her, could I have some drugs? Like, could he be on drugs? And then I've seen people do shit that had no reasoning connected to it when they're on drugs. So that'll be the motivation, the reason for
To do that.
right.
6 successful seasons. #1 on the network.
Yeah.
They didn't pick up or give any acknowledgement to Power. No acknowledgement for Life. Some people say third time is a charm. Do you feel like you're trending in that direction, that this series may be the one that finally gets the attention? And do you even care?
I really was. I get excited at NAACP awards, right? Because at least those awards are aimed at the success of
People of color.
right. Those other things, the other award shows, you gotta look. If the show's #1 for African Americans and Latinas, how did it not have an opportunity to lose? Not win,
Right.
just lose, just be in the category.
I mean, repeat that. I mean, so people know. #1 for blacks and Latinos
Yeah,
on the network.
right.
And still get snubbed.
It's like,
Because some people say the numbers don't lie, but
oh, that's when they want to count.
right.
When you want to count the numbers, you say the numbers don't lie. But when them shits is what my numbers are, you want to, let's just let it be. Maybe they just missed it. It's a lot of programs, just not the one that all of the highest rated for African Americans and Latinas. They missed that one.
Clearly.
Yeah.
Take us into the mind of Curtis Jackson when he's creating the show. What are the steps? Is it something that you leave a pad at the bedside? You grab your cell phone, and then you say, "All right, I want to do these things," and you start pushing the buttons. You are a man that has the connections to push a button on anything. Not necessarily always get the green light,
right,
but you can make things happen and push things forward. Like, what is the process for you in terms of creativity, bringing something to life?
First, it has to be exciting to me. I have to be excited about it, like what it is. Like, for Life, look, STARZ had to pass on that for me to go to ABC and get it there. Like, so this my overall deal. I had to present that to them first. So I don't have any reserved feelings or anything like that. Any project that I commit to early on, I know what it is. I know it's a hit, and nobody can convince me it's not a hit because I know what I want to see, and I know that the demographics agree
right
with it. You know what I'm saying? And when they see the joint come out and it does those numbers,
you're not surprised.
No, and nobody wants to remember who told me no.
Because nobody wants to be the person that
responsible for the shit being across the street, the ABC shit. So you look, and that's how that goes. And then you look, it kind of trains people to take a closer look at what I'm delivering because I'm not delivering it for no reason. It's like Isaac Wright, his story. Isaac Wright Jr. is a unicorn, bro. He sentenced to 70 years plus life and figures out how to fight his way out of it.
Right.
Okay. Just give me anybody. They got a close story to that. There's nothing like that.
Nothing like it.
You got a lot of people, if you can't see it in the system now, the temperament of law enforcement, this would be the person that is on the stand, is the most reputable person to say you did something.
Right.
And you see their actions out clearer than you've seen in the past because while Nikon and Kanan were competing to make the best cameras, Apple and Samsung put the cameras in our hand and the phone. So
Change the
now,
game.
that puts everyone's usage of the phone is what's making everything be on tape. So you seeing the stuff that was in the inner cities, like this is not new. Like the law enforcement, the shit that the police would do, they jump out. Like I seen a guy tell me, like the police, like got out the car and he was like, "Yo, like what?" Felt offended that they got out and told him to get out. I'm like, they jump out on you? Like, ever since I can remember, they've been jumping out, bro. You know what I'm saying? I think it's because it's Southside. It's where we grew up at. Like, if you go to the store, so no drug location 20 years, right? So They jump out, you can get first,
Right.
just going to the store. So,
But you know this though.
yeah, it's been there. Like you can't change the location. You know what I mean? Like you live around the corner. So you become accustomed to it. Like, you know, like Tuesdays and Thursdays, like
Right.
TNT. Technical
bound to
Narcotics
happen.
teams out. It's definitely coming out. Yeah, they won't be here. They won't be around Monday or Wednesday because they in court for what they caught on Tuesday,
That's crazy.
Thursday.
But you know it's coming. It's just a matter of when.
Yeah, but these things changed right after Edward Burns. From that one thing, and how about when I watched the images of law enforcement? That's the only people you're not supposed to have beef with. I'd be like, oh, they bugging when they do it. They fighting the police, like the protesters and shit like that. I'm like, oh,
That's what you go. That's what
yeah.
we doing.
I'm looking like, what? Okay, watch how that play out, because that's what fucked up the whole system.
in the first place.
Jamaica, South Jamaica, Queens, everything fucked up after Edward Burns got killed. Yeah, that's the Fat Cat story, Pappy Mason. Yeah, you check it out. That don't work well.
Nah, it don't work well.
Yeah.
We are excited about the trailer. We see Mary J. Blige and Method Man
That's dope.
being cast. Why? How? And was that a dream for you to actually have some iconic people like these artists?
Yeah, it couldn't be better. The cast, if you, Mary was a fan of the show, so she would have people come over and they sit and watch the show. This is when we started promoting the power party type thing.
Right, the
Everybody
watch parties.
watch the party, and I knew that she was finishing her tour and they would be in New York. That I just set it up for her to meet with Courtney, and they just hit it off like right away. Like, this is before Power was done. You know, this is like when. Look, I had spoke to Kendrick. The Kendrick thing started 2 years before you saw it.
Okay.
Because me and Top is in communications about, you know, different things, and he was like, yo, Kendrick want to do something. And you would see even Kendrick would be, he'd get live when the music come on to the show, and it was on tape, like he would put it up. And shit like that. He's a fan of the show, but I didn't want people coming in and out for no reason. Like cameos and shit, and you didn't really do nothing. So we had to find a character that really worked so he can strut his stuff. Like, performance-wise, you got an award for a guest appearance.
Which is
Very
dope,
rare,
which is
yeah.
dope.
He did the work, man. Like, people, they definitely recognized how much he put into it, you know. And it changed if I would be sought after following that. Like, other than, you know, the camera pans across you at the store buying a bag of chips. Oh, that's such and such.
Right.
We don't need that shit.
Flash
We need
down-
somebody
down.
to be in it to really
Bring
do
something to
something.
life.
Yeah.
So we have you as executive producer, Mary and Meth. Will we see some music from either one of y'all or all three of y'all during the course of this series?
Probably from all three of us, but not necessarily for the theme song. I think the theme song needed to stay the Power theme song. I had an experience with me and Trey that was not a good experience.
The question is, what is the theme song?
Big Rich Town. You know, and then following that, like, you know, like certain things don't have to change after the fact. Like, I looked at it and was like, didn't really have to change. We could have made a different song, right? Because the record was going up the charts, but they were complaining. It's steady going up. It's a hit. Like, it would have been a hit record, but they complaining at the same time. Should have just left their ass complaining and had another hit, right? And then if it had played long enough, they would be like, oh, I like that one too.
All right. Will Kanan make an appearance anywhere, or is it Kanan really dead? I mean, he won't pop up, no DNA test, like he's not really Tariq's father.
No. They did that because of her passion.
Okay,
See,
right.
with Tasha, her being angry after Ghost, after we squashed it, we're cool, we're working together. You go, where is that anger coming from? It's coming from it being her idea to get me out of the way. You see what I'm saying? They thinking that immediately you say this, right? If somebody close to you is furious about some shit and they got this perspective on a person, right? And you go, you squash it over whatever y'all differences are, and they still sitting there upset, it would mean something that you don't know is fueling their emotions, right? Now, usually, if it's something that you don't know, and it's a man and a woman, maybe some sort of intimacy or something, you know? And people assume that because I started to actually like the Tyreek character.
Right.
You know, and they go, maybe
The disposition was different. The
Yeah.
energy was different. So it's got to be
this.
possibility, because why would you even try to get close to him?
And there was a scene that was a little out there. Remember, I went to see Ghost, and he was in the hotel because he got kicked out house, and we at the bar, and we talking, and I'm like, oh, you staying here? And he said, yeah, and then afterwards, I just show up with a bottle of wine, like,
Out of nowhere.
see,
Like,
but I just know this bitch was a pop. Like, she was a neighborhood joint. Like, the fuck out of here. Like, you gotta know that
Right.
to come and do some shit like that.
that's
Like,
the only way you can play that card.
yeah, but you see where they got it. They got you fuck with the driver right there. You fuck with the lawyer right there. You can't go to the store and find somebody to fuck with. You fuck with these people right here. That's who she is. The temperament of the character. You know this bitch, man. She from the neighborhood. You know her. That's why people like the show, because they
Can identify with
the flaws.
a character.
The flaws in the characters. They look at it and go, oh, I know, yeah, this bitch this is some bullshit. She doing some bullshit right there. And then she always get the girl her homegirl want. Always get the guy the homegirl want. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, you fucking first and make sure everything is good before I go. It's good? She want to know. You go test it out first.
Right. Go for a test run and let me know. Come back and
Yeah,
bring
man.
me
Just
the
let me know
intel.
if it's, I kind of like him. Let me see if it's worth it. You go first. Tell me about it.
Listen, I want to ask you this. This is something personal. Jay and Kanye came out with Watch the Throne. We all know that you have a great relationship, brotherhood with Eminem. Is there any possibility that we may see a collabo album, or would you even think of considering a versus just for the culture, not as a competition, but just for the culture? Because I don't really see you competing with
Right,
anybody
yeah.
else.
And that's a tough. If anybody's thinking of doing that type of competition with Eminem, they should stop. Should stop thinking that shit right away, because it's not gonna turn out good. No, it's not gonna work out. And bro, you know, at Marshall Mathers LP sold 22 million copies.
Alone.
Yeah. I think it went to 23. It was like 22, 23. I was like, that's why I always knew my project could be bigger. I'm doing 13. It just came off with 22. You know, when the guy that sells 22 million records says, yo, this guy is crazy. Like, this is the one for us to fuck with. Everybody want to do what he want to do. That's why my relationship with him is the way it is. You know what I'm saying? Because that was the opportunity enough. I mean, all I need is the opportunity. I'm going to run with this shit. Like, you ain't going to never see me again asking you for nothing or needing nothing from you. Crazy? I've been doing this too long. Like, I'm like, what? Pow, gone.
Out of here.
You know, to this day, you know what's ill about him? Like, he hit me randomly. I'll show you my phone the last time I talked to him. He texted me and was like, yo, that when you gonna fly me in private so I can land on that dick? Nigga, what the fuck is wrong with you? That you said a line a bitch was supposed to say and made it sound cool. Right? And he said, oh, so here's some other shit, huh? But he stopped doing what he's doing to do that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That shit makes my day on a whole nother level. Because I'm like,
What did you just
it
say?
was random. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and it's like, yo, this guy, I'm always going to have love for him. That's my guy. You know what I'm saying? Like, the other guys, they're not going to mean the same thing like that. You know what I mean? Like, if he didn't, come on, his beef is a little different, like who he had issues with and shit like that, but his career is different. Like, he had big eyes. It's not a good idea to fuck with him, because I don't really feel like there's a lot of people that are on the same level.
At all.
Yeah.
Would you guys consider doing a album, collabo, or?
They probably get songs out of us. I have songs still laying around. Like, I have records from We
You guys
recorded.
recorded, it just didn't come out.
Yeah. Like once it starts to get dated a little bit, we don't want that. Like it's,
I think you guys could go in right now and just do something for the culture that would just really put the game in a chokehold because it's not expected right now.
yeah. I had to start working more back into writing and doing all the time because M is sharp right now. He's still not. He wasn't doing anything different. Like he went
Right.
back to record regular, like the same shit he did.
He picked up where he left off.
Right. And his record sales is right where he left off too. Still number one. So, it's pretty tough for you to question it, right?
Yeah, it is. Now, you're a big fan of 48 Laws of Power. You came out with the 50th Law. New book, Hustle Harder, Hustle Smarter. What are some of the lessons that play out in the shows that you are now producing?
That was interesting. You heard the way he said that? He went from the book to things that play out in the shows. Well, I pointed out how detrimental it is that you be a good judge of character, right? It's detrimental to continuing success or having success, period. And then the coolest way to say it, you know how you see them Fortune 500 companies get turned into Fortune 250?
Mm-hmm.
It's usually because the guys that you would say are the smartest guys, or they acquired finances and got a really good team around them, it's still a misread on their friends. Because friendship, all relationships,
Right.
at the base of it is friendship, and then it develops into something else, right? So when you pick the wrong friend, a Fortune 500 will turn into Fortune 250 right after they say divorce,
And that's it.
right? That's it, and it'll cut you in half. Cut you in half.
I ask you this.
Shit.
How important is it what do you want people to walk away from with this new series?
I want them to walk away. I'm sure they're gonna walk away extremely entertained by it, right? But if you really look at the underlying messages in some of it, they're gonna understand that it was socially conscious at the same time while being entertaining. Because Courtney is conscious of the things that are going on. She put little things in it,
Right.
nuances that relate to, stuff that's going on. So they'll get
They give you what they bargained for.
Like even some of the terms that they're using in the court cases and stuff like that, that shit is real. Like what they're saying in the court case are actual terminologies that are being used, and it's not like just some fictional shit they made up and put there.
I saw this interview. Amari Harwood, good friend of ours, he talked about how you predicted the success of Power. I want to know your prediction for this, but also he said that at the start of the season 1, there was a motivation and inspiration that you embedded in all of your cast members that allowed them to believe to see the bigger picture.
Right.
Have you done that for Power Book 2?
We got stars on this one. Like they're coming into this, Mary J. Blige and Method Man and like Wood, all these guys. They've worked. Like the Omari, Joe, and them, they were already working actors and doing what they was doing, but they weren't. This broke them. Power broke them to a point that everybody knows. Like I tell Joe this, I said you got a shot at a different kind of career because you got a show that is the highest viewed show by African Americans and Latinas, and you're white, bro.
Right.
So by the time the white folks realize how talented you are, you on fire.
Right. Exponentially.
Everybody else over here know you already.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like they already know that. So it's a different kind of approach to having that kind of audience because it's a different, demo watching. But he got the goods too. Joe is.
He's the truth.
It's tough. It's for the Tommy character. Like you'll see some things that he's done is like real character pieces that you would look at and go, wow, that's him. Like the big beard or stuff with the farmer and all this wild shit he be doing. It's a lot of different stuff. Yeah, he picked that. I wouldn't necessarily be with the big beard being the farmer. You know, it's just not.
It's not in your DNA.
It's not appeasing to me.
Listen, Power Book 2 is coming on STARZ this September. Tune in. Curtis, 50 Cent Jackson, your brother here, June Archer. Thank y'all for tuning in. Peace.
Hey.